Hello and welcome for the fourth engine review from Will for www.modelrailwayreviews.com. Today we'll be looking at Hornby's Class 56 number 56105 in BR large logo livery, an engine that was first released around 2003. So before we fully begin on the model, a quick bit of history as usual behind the engine. So, the Class 56s were a heavy freight locomotive introduced under BR. There were 135 built in total between 1976 and 1983. The first 30 were built by Electroputra from Romania, but these suffered from poor construction, and so the remaining 105 were built by Doncaster and Crew Works by Brell. They were known by enthusiasts as grids for the horn cover on the front, which you can just see on this model next to my thumb. So, on to the model itself and its detail. On the front of the model you can see all these wiring details and exterior handrails, as well as tinted glass windows with windscreen wipers that stand out. So that's really good detail considering it was back in 2003. When I wasn't an active railway model really. And there's a small coupling hook at the front, which is really well detailed, and again nice horn cover. And we'll get onto the lights on the front, but even without the lighting effect they look good. Lots of detail on that door, including the handles and the electric warning flash. Deep grooves to get into the grills. We'll just let it come into focus in there, so they do look realistic like that. And on these grills here, they're textured really, so that looks very realistic as well. Nicely printed number. It's worth noting at this stage this is the weathered version, so you've got all the dirt from the fans on top, the output, and it's lighter at that end because that's where these come out, and also the dirt along the bottom, which is really well applied and makes it look really good, especially with that large logo crest. It's worth noting too that I haven't had to detail this model myself, unlike the Locomotive Super detailing realism features you can find, because the weathering kind of disguises any small areas that could be. So that was really good. And at this end it's much the same with the small 105 at the bottom. Also you get the crew members in there, 2 crew members, which looks nice, and it doesn't really matter if it's going reverse either, because then you don't see them. So it's a nice touch. But on the whole, really good detail on the Class 56, and it makes it look a very realistic model. It does show up on it. Now that we've taken a look at the detail on the Class 56, we'll take a look at her running and her performance and reliability. So, as you can see there, that's fairly smooth running and responsiveness in both directions. I don't know if at this stage you'll be able to pick up that the lights on the front are really good. We'll take a look at her in the dark in a minute. But before we take a look at her in the dark, we'll take a look at her pulling this lengthy train, which is the kind of sort we should be pulling in service. Now she's again with no trouble whatsoever. I mean, that's a very heavy train, but going along fine. So really realistic trains with this engine. In the past I've never usually really trusted Ringfield motors, but they're actually really good, because if you can learn how to clean them and replace the carbon brushes, then they'll give you many years of service. I've just cleaned this Lima one with this diesel shunter, and it's actually very smooth even after 40 years of service. So, due to its performance, I'd say this is a very good Ringfield motor. It's a very big one, and it's of a new variety. No trouble on the gradients either, as this shot demonstrates. A very high top speed as well. A bit too fast for its own good, but good fun. have noticed a few problems with the Class 56, and that's that very occasionally it falls off on the tighter radius curves and over points, but that's not so common, and it's easy if you don't have ballast on the track. So just watch out for that. She's also capable of fulfilling a passenger role, maybe not realistically, but she looks good with it. So, now that we've looked at the performance and reliability of the Class 56, in which it's actually very good, we'll take a look at how it compares up for, is it value for its money? Well, let's take into consideration that this is now a discontinued model, so it's likely to be costing less nowadays, as people sell off their old ones in the wake of these 5-pole skew-wound motors that are coming out, as opposed to the Wingfields. I think this particular type of Wingfield's really good. The detail's really good. The weathering's fantastic. I really like it. Really like that finish. It's done it well. So I'd say, for what I got it for, which was under the £40 mark, and to be around that nowadays, I reckon, it's really good value for money. It's very useful for any layout after 1976, up to sort of end of BR. Maybe 1990, or even into preservation. Some of them are like on the battlefield line, there's one. So yeah, a really nice engine, and one that's again quite recommendable, especially with those lights. So Hornby's old 56105 in weathered form is a very detailed model, a very good performer, reliable performer. It's very good value for its money and can perform a variety of roles if wanted to. So on the whole, I think it's a really good model. Not your best top of the range thing, but a very useful engine that is good fun to have. So on the whole, a realistic and interesting model. Thank you very much for watching this review by Will for www.modelrailreviews.com, and I hope to see you soon with more reviews and realism features. Bye for now.